For a long time, we've been told that eggs are one of the most complete and affordable sources of protein out there. And they weren't wrong, especially after turning 60. This simple food becomes a powerful ally to keep our muscles strong, our minds sharp, and our bones resilient. It's a key defense against sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass that can steal our independence. But what if I told you there's a very common way of eating eggs, a habit you probably repeat almost every morning, that could be silently harming your health? Hello, how are you? I'm Dr. Brian, and today we're going to talk about an essential topic that quietly affects a huge number of older adults. We all love eggs, and for good reason. They provide high-quality protein, they're packed with choline to protect your brain and memory, and they're one of the few natural sources of vitamin D available. But they also have a lesser-known side. And no, it's not that eggs themselves are harmful, it's what we often eat with them. Many people believe that by adding certain ingredients to their eggs, they're making them tastier or even healthier. But without realizing it, they're creating what I call harmful combinations. Mixes that, instead of offering benefits, may trigger hidden inflammation, interfere with organ function, and even block the absorption of essential nutrients at this stage of life. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 most problematic combinations that you're likely making without even realizing it. We're not talking about exotic foods. On the contrary, these are things you probably have in your kitchen right now. And the best part? I won't just tell you what to avoid, but also why, with clear explanations and tasty, healthy alternatives so you can keep enjoying your eggs without putting your well-being at risk. I invite you to stay until the end, because the third combination is by far the most common one. It's such an everyday habit, so ingrained in our routines, that you'll be shocked to learn how much damage it might be causing without you even noticing. This video is not meant to scare you. On the contrary, it's designed to empower you, to give you the information you need to take care of your body, live longer, and feel more vitality. So, if you're ready to open your eyes to what's really going on in your breakfast plate, let's begin. Dangerous combination number 1. Eggs with processed meats. Let's start with the most classic one. The combo that's probably been part of your mornings for years. A delicious mix for your taste buds, but a harmful one for your health, especially as you get older. Yes, I'm talking about eggs paired with processed meats like bacon, sausages, deli-style ham, or chorizo. And I know what many of you are thinking, but it tastes amazing. I've eaten it all my life. Exactly. That's why we need to talk about it. The taste might be great, but the impact it has on your body, especially after 60, can be more serious than you think. Here, the problem isn't the egg itself. The egg remains a great ally. The risk lies in what you put alongside it. Processed meats are a triple threat. They're loaded with saturated fats, extremely high levels of salt, and harmful chemical compounds like nitrites and nitrates. Let's break it down to make it clear. Let's start with saturated fats. Imagine for a moment that your arteries are like clean, flexible pipes. Now imagine that every time you eat a piece of sausage or bacon, you're introducing a thick wax-like substance inside your arteries. That wax is saturated fat. Over time, it builds up, hardens, and forms plaques. That's what we call atherosclerosis. Your arteries, which should be elastic, become stiff and narrow, forcing your heart to work twice as hard to pump blood through your body. The result? Your blood pressure spikes, and your risk of a heart attack or stroke rises dangerously. While eggs provide healthy fats, when you combine them with processed meats packed with saturated fat, you not only cancel out their benefits, but you also turn your breakfast into an inflammatory meal for your body. Second point. Sodium. The amount of salt in these processed products is outrageous. A single serving can cover or even exceed more than half of the recommended daily sodium intake. Excess salt acts like a drying agent inside the body, making your arteries even stiffer. And when arteries lose their flexibility, blood pressure rises even more. It's no coincidence that hypertension is called the silent killer. It shows no symptoms but causes serious damage to the heart, brain, and especially the kidneys. And finally, the third major danger, nitrites and nitrates. They are used as preservatives to keep processed meats pink and to prevent bacterial growth. At first glance, they seem harmless, but when you cook them at high temperatures, like frying bacon alongside your eggs, they can turn into toxic compounds called nitrosamines. According to numerous studies, nitrosamines are strongly linked to an increased risk of colon and stomach cancer. In other words, You're basically creating a toxic substance right in your own pan. Now, I don't want to sound alarmist. Eating a few slices of ham at a celebration every now and then won't ruin your health. The real danger is the habit. If you have breakfast like this 3, 4, or more times a week, you're paving the way to chronic diseases. So the question is, do you have to eat eggs plain and boring? Of course not. The key is changing what you pair them with. Here are some ideas to turn your breakfast into a true ally for your well-being. For example, add slices of avocado. Instead of the harmful fats from bacon, you'll be adding healthy fats that reduce inflammation, help lower bad cholesterol, and are great for your heart and brain. You can also try sautéed mushrooms and spinach. Just cook them with a little garlic and olive oil. Mushrooms provide a rich flavor, and spinach is full of fiber and vitamins. Another option, roasted cherry tomatoes. Cook them right alongside your eggs in the same pan. The heat activates lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that protects our cells. And if you really want to include meat, it's better to choose natural turkey or chicken breast. No processed deli meats. A thin slice, grilled is enough and much healthier. A lean protein without all those harmful additives. You can also add black beans or lentils. A small portion alongside your eggs is an excellent option. They provide plant-based protein, fiber that aids digestion, and lasting energy to start your day right. As you can see, not only is it possible to replace processed meats, it's a true upgrade. Leaving those products behind isn't a punishment. It's a step towards more conscious and powerful eating. And if what I just shared about such a common combination already got you thinking, wait until you hear what comes next. The second forbidden mix is even trickier because it involves a food many believe to be the epitome of healthy eating. But first, I have a small favor to ask, something that costs you nothing but means a lot to us. If you're finding this content helpful, don't forget to hit the like button down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our health tips. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. How do you usually pair your eggs in a healthy way? Your ideas can inspire others, and I'll be happy to respond. Alright, now that you know how to protect your heart starting with breakfast, let's move on to the next warning. Get ready, because this one might surprise you. Dangerous combination 2. Eggs with excessive soy. Here we go. This second forbidding combination is a trap that catches many people without them realizing it. It involves mixing eggs with large amounts of soy products. Yes, I'm talking about preparations like scrambled dishes that combine tofu and eggs, soy protein shakes, alongside eggs, or even plates with plant-based sausages made from soy. And I completely understand the confusion. We've been told again and again that soy is a healthy alternative to meat, and that's true. In moderate amounts, it can be an excellent choice. But when we frequently combine it with such a complete protein like eggs, two serious problems can arise, especially in older adults. The first, and probably the most concerning, directly affects the kidneys. And here I want to be very clear. This risk isn't for everyone, but it is very relevant if you already have some level of kidney function impairment, even if it's mild. Unfortunately, mild kidney decline is quite common with age and often shows no symptoms in its early stages. If you're completely healthy, eating this combination occasionally shouldn't harm you. But if this type of mix is a regular part of your diet, or if your kidneys aren't functioning at 100%, then you need to be especially cautious. Both eggs and soy are very rich in protein and phosphorus. Our kidneys work like a very sophisticated filter that cleans our blood. When we consume large amounts of protein and phosphorus at the same time, like those coming from eggs plus soy, that filter is forced to work overtime. Over time, this overload can damage its function. When phosphorus builds up in the blood because it isn't properly eliminated, it can cause calcium to be pulled from the bones, weakening them and increasing the risk of fractures. It all starts with a combination that seems completely harmless. The second big problem has to do with what we call anti-nutrients. Soy contains compounds called phytates, which act like little saboteurs in the intestine. These phytates bind to essential minerals found in eggs, such as zinc and iron, preventing the body from efficiently absorbing them. In other words, you might be eating an egg rich in zinc, a vital mineral for keeping your immune system strong. But when paired with a good amount of soy, that zinc can get blocked and pass unnoticed by your body. Again, the key is not to avoid soy completely, but to be mindful of how much and how often you consume it. For example, a splash of soy milk in your coffee poses no risk. The problem arises when, out of habit, you have a large scramble of tofu and eggs for breakfast every day. So, what's the solution? Do we need to eliminate soy entirely? Not at all. You just need to use it wisely. Don't double up on proteins in the same meal. The rule is simple. If you're going to eat eggs that day, let that be your main protein source. Pair them with vegetables, avocado, or ingredients that don't add extra protein load. And if you're a fan of plant-based proteins, great, but vary your sources. One day lentils, another day chickpeas, another quinoa. Don't focus solely on soy. You also need to be careful with protein shakes. If you take protein supplements, choose just one, whether it's whey, egg protein, or pea protein. But avoid mixing soy protein powder with eggs in the same meal. This advice is especially important for those with some degree of kidney disease. If you already have a diagnosis, your doctor has likely given you specific limits on how much phosphorus and protein you can consume. In many cases, only egg whites are recommended, since the yolk contains more phosphorus and soy intake should be limited under medical supervision. In summary, soy itself isn't bad. The problem is combining it repeatedly and excessively with eggs. It's another reminder that in nutrition, more isn't always better. And now, moving on to the third dangerous combination: eggs with tea or coffee in the same meal. This is one of the most common habits, and probably the one most people do without realizing the harm. It's almost a ritual: breakfast with eggs and a hot cup of coffee or tea on the side. It seems like the perfect way to start the morning, right? A complete breakfast with eggs and a steaming cup of coffee or tea. What could be wrong with that? Well, the problem isn't the eggs, the coffee, or the tea. It's consuming them at the same time. Both black and green tea, as well as coffee, contain compounds called tannins. These tannins, although in many cases act as antioxidants and have health benefits, have a little-known ability. They are excellent at blocking iron absorption. And not just any iron, but non-heme iron, which is found in plant-based foods and also in eggs. This type of iron is already harder to absorb compared to the iron found in red meat. As people age, many reduce their red meat consumption, which makes them rely even more on this harder-to-absorb iron. And here's where the real problem appears. Imagine that the iron in eggs is like a key that needs to fit into a lock in your intestine for your body to use it. Now imagine that the tannins in tea or coffee are like a super sticky piece of chewing gum. If you drink your hot beverage at the same time you eat eggs, that gum, the tannins, wraps around the key, the iron. The result? The key no longer fits the lock, and your body can't absorb that iron. It simply gets eliminated. And what happens? The risk of developing iron deficiency anemia skyrockets, a condition very common in older adults, which can completely ruin your well-being. Constant fatigue, pale skin, shortness of breath with minimal effort, dizziness, cold hands and feet, and mental fog. Sounds terrible, right? That small habit of having your eggs with coffee or tea could be causing exactly that. You're eating a healthy food, but at the same time consuming something that cancels out one of its main benefits. But here's the good news. Of all the combinations, this one is the easiest to avoid. You don't have to give up your eggs or your favorite drink. You just need to adjust when you consume them. The solution is as simple as spacing them out by some time. Experts recommend waiting at least an hour between eating eggs and drinking your coffee or tea. It's that simple. Option 1. Drink your hot beverage right when you wake up. Enjoy it slowly as you wake up, then wait about 60 minutes before having your egg breakfast. Afterwards, sit down and enjoy your meal calmly. By the time the iron reaches your intestine, the blocking effect will have disappeared. Option 2. First have your coffee or tea. Then eat your eggs accompanied by a glass of water or, even better, a fresh orange juice. The vitamin C in the juice actually improves iron absorption, so it's a double benefit. After that, wait an hour before eating or drinking anything else. Make this your new mid-morning ritual. It's a very simple change that can have a huge impact on your health. Before we finish, let me share a couple of quick but essential clarifications about eggs. First, vitamin D. Yes, eggs are a natural source of this vitamin, but the amount is small, around 40 IU per yolk. An older adult needs between 600 and 800 IU daily. So while eggs help, you can't rely on them alone. Safe sun exposure, and in many cases, a supplement recommended by your doctor remain essential. Second, for a long time, Egg cholesterol was seen as the enemy. Today, science confirms that for most healthy people, eating up to 1 egg a day does not increase cardiovascular risk. However, if you have type 2 diabetes or heart disease, it is advisable to be more cautious. In these cases, your doctor will always be the best guide. And finally, but very importantly, never eat raw or undercooked eggs. The risk of salmonella is real, and its consequences can be much more severe in older adults, whose immune systems are more vulnerable. Always cook your eggs thoroughly. Safety comes first. And there you have it. The real secret of eggs is not in the eggs themselves, but in what you pair them with. We've learned to avoid processed cold cuts to protect our hearts. We've also understood why we need to be careful with excess soy to protect our kidneys. And we've discovered the simplest trick to keep enjoying tea and coffee without blocking iron absorption. All it takes is to separate them from your meal by 1 hour. Eggs are, and will continue to be, a great ally for maintaining your strength and energy. My goal today was not to scare you, but to give you tools to take control of your health. I truly hope this guide has helped you and empowered you to take better care of yourself. If you want to keep learning how to protect your body, I invite you to watch this other video we've prepared, which perfectly complements this information. The 4 breakfasts that are weakening your muscles without you realizing it. You can click on the video appearing on the screen now. Don't forget to subscribe to get more guides like this. And if you think this information could help a friend or family member, share it with them. A small gesture can make a big difference. Take good care of yourself. Choose wisely what you put on your plate, and see you in the next video.